Welcome back to Inherited Dawn, your weekly dive into the world of One Piece.
We're breaking down Chapter 35 this week, titled Hill of Truth.
And what a title, because for the first time, Usopp isn't telling a lie. He's giving an order. His body is frozen, he's face to face with the killer, and he gives his little crew the most important, the most real command of their lives.
It's the moment the game ends and the battle begins.
Absolutely. And if you want to follow that journey with us, from a scared kid on a hill to a brave warrior of the sea, make sure you're following the show. It's the only way to make sure you're there for every cannonball, every snipe, and every victory. Now, let's get into it.
We open right where we left off. Luffy's fist has connected with Kuro's face, sending him flying down the oil-slicked slope.
And what a panel to open on. It's pure kinetic energy. You've got the impact lines, Kuro's glasses flying off, his body just ragdolling through the air. And Luffy's arm is still stretched all the way up the hill, vibrating from the force. It's the perfect visual representation of how this fight just got turned completely upside down.
Oda is a master of using the full page to convey scale. The length of that arm, the height of the slope. It immediately establishes that what Luffy did was, by all normal standards, impossible.
And the Black Cat Pirates just cannot compute what they just saw. This dude stretched his arm from the bottom of the slope all the way to the top and just clocked their supposedly genius captain. You see the panels of their faces. It's just pure slack-jawed disbelief. It's like they just saw a fish climb a tree.
Their entire worldview is shattering. They operate in a world of schemes, tricks, and stealth. Kuro's entire philosophy is based on meticulous planning, and then this kid in a straw hat shows up and breaks all the rules of physics.
It's the ultimate wrench in the gears of his perfect plan. You can plan for Marines, you can plan for bounty hunters, you can plan for rival pirates. How in the world do you plan for a rubber man who can punch you from a football field away? You don't. That's why Luffy is so effective against these schemer-type villains. He is the living embodiment of chaos.
They're amazed, but they're also terrified. They see Kuro lying motionless at the bottom, and they know what that silence means.
Yeah, that's the real tell, isn't it? They aren't worried about him being hurt. They're scared because he's quiet. You have one guy screaming, "He's not moving," and another one saying, "It's the silence that's scary." That's how you know you're working for a monster, when his silence is louder than his screaming.
A normal crew would be panicking for their captain's well-being or furious at the person who attacked him, but their immediate reaction is self-preservation.
They are afraid of what he will do to them in retaliation for this humiliation. It implies a deep, controlled rage is building. They've seen this before. It's a prelude to something awful. That quiet is him processing, analyzing, and building up this pressure cooker of fury that's about to explode. You get the sense that when he gets up, it's not just going to be a fight, it's going to be a slaughter.
Before Kuro can even get up, though, we hear a war cry, and it's the Usopp Pirates. Ninjin, Tamanegi, and P-Man come charging down the hill.
Yes, the cavalry has arrived. They come sliding down that oily slope like it's a slip and slide of justice. This is one of my favorite moments in early One Piece, hands down.
They're armed with a shovel, a baseball bat, and a frying pan.
The weapons of legends, the holy trinity of backyard adventuring, and they just start wailing on Kuro while he's down. The sheer, uncut audacity of it all. They're screaming at Usopp, "How dare you fight without us, Captain?"
That line is so important. It's not, "Are you okay?" or "Let's get out of here." It is an admonishment born of pure, unwavering loyalty. In their minds, the Usopp Pirates are a crew, a unit. The idea that their captain would face danger alone is an insult to their bond.
It's so pure, man. They aren't thinking about the odds. They aren't thinking about the fact that they're 3 kids with gardening tools attacking a notorious pirate captain. They see their leader, Usopp, who they believe is the bravest man alive, standing up to a villain, and their only thought is, we stand with him.
It's such a perfect contrast. Kuro's crew is paralyzed by fear of their captain. They stand at the top of the hill watching, completely useless because they're terrified of his reaction. Meanwhile, Usopp's crew is charging into mortal danger out of pure loyalty to theirs.
They have no idea how out of their depth they are. They just know their friend, their leader, is in trouble, and they're gonna back his play no matter what. That's a real pirate crew right there. It's not about strength or numbers, it's about that shared heart. That's the soul of a crew, and these kids have it in spades.
Usopp, of course, is horrified. He's begging them to run, to get away from here. He knows this isn't a game. The lie has become real, and he's desperate to protect the people who believed in it. He understands the stakes in a way they can't possibly comprehend yet.
And then the game ends for them too, because Kuro just appears right behind them. The sound effect is just swoosh. No footsteps, no warning. He was on the ground being beaten with a frying pan, and the next panel, he's standing there, perfectly composed, right behind them.
It's our first real hint at his signature technique, that unnatural silent speed. It's terrifying because it breaks the narrative flow. One moment he's down, the next he's up. There's no transition.
The look on their faces, the moment they realize Captain Kuro, the butler, is not the man they thought he was. That dawning horror when the fun adventure turns into a real-life nightmare. You can see the shift from righteous fury to absolute terror in their eyes. The frying pan just drops from Pimon's hand. The game is officially over.
He doesn't even bother with the kids. He doesn't attack them or threaten them. He simply ignores them, as if they are not even present.
Which is almost more insulting, you know? He just walks right past them, straight up to Usopp, and lands this vicious kick that sends him flying. It's not a fighter's kick. It's not a martial arts move. It's pure dismissal, contempt. It's the kind of kick you'd give to a garbage can in your way.
He sees Usopp as nothing more than an annoyance, an insect to be swatted away. In his grand 3-year plan, Usopp is an unforeseen variable, but a minor one. The kids are even less than that. They are beneath his notice.
And then he turns to the real threat. He adjusts his glasses, completely calm, and looks at Luffy. He asks him if he got his powers from a devil fruit.
This is what makes Kuro so dangerous, and what separates him from brutes like Morgan or Alvida. He just took a gum-gum pistol to the face from a good distance away, a physically impossible attack that should have broken his jaw. His crew is in shock, the situation is chaotic, but his immediate reaction isn't blind rage, it's analysis. He's gathering data on his opponent.
His mind is a weapon. He's thinking, okay, this is new. This is not normal. What is the logical explanation for this anomaly? He's trying to fit Luffy into a box he can understand so he can formulate a new plan to deal with him. He's a terrifyingly cold and calculating opponent.
He's a strategist first and a fighter second. He needs to understand the parameters of the battle before he fully engages.
Luffy, being Luffy, is an open book. He has no concept of tactical secrecy. Kuro asks, and Luffy just straight up tells him, yep, I ate the Gomu Gomu no Mi. I'm a rubber man. He's almost proud of it, like he's explaining a cool party trick.
And Jango's reaction is fascinating. He's stunned. He says, so the rumors are true. They really do exist.
That's a great point. It's easy to forget after seeing Buggy and Luffy, but for your average East Blue pirate, a devil fruit is a sea story, a myth you tell over drinks. It's like a sailor seeing a mermaid. Jango is looking at living proof of a legend.
It grounds the world so effectively. It reminds us that what the Straw Hats are doing, who they are, is fundamentally world-breaking for the sea they're in. They are the exception, not the rule. Most pirates in the sea are just guys with swords and guns. A man made of rubber is something from a fairy tale.
It also makes sense of why no one could figure out what was happening with Luffy's arm. It's not just weird, it's something they thought was impossible. They don't have a category for it. Jango's reaction is the entire East Blue. These guys are about to face something they aren't prepared for on a fundamental level.
You know, speaking of weird combinations, I saw this funny note from Odo this week. Apparently, he recommends putting kappa ebisen, those shrimp-flavored snacks, into shoyu ramen.
Okay, what? Really? That's what he was thinking about while drawing this intense chapter? I love that.
He says it's delicious, but to be careful with how much you put in. Apparently, the broth soaks into the snack and it creates a unique texture and flavor.
I mean, I'm willing to try it. Sounds like it could be a decent salty crunch. A little pirate ingenuity in the kitchen. It's totally something Sanji would experiment with if he ran out of ingredients. Well, all we have is ramen and Usopp's snack bag. Let's see what happens.
It's very on-brand for him, finding strange but effective combinations. A rubber man, a three-sword swordsman, a lying sniper.
Yeah, you're right. It all tracks. Anyway, back to the slope. Kuro's done his recon. He's got his answer. Devil fruit user. He files that information away. And now he gives out the orders. He points at Luffy and says, I'll deal with him.
Then he turns to Jango and tells him to deal with Kaya and the Usopp Pirates. The mission hasn't changed. Luffy is an obstacle, but the goal is the inheritance. Get the money, kill the girl.
And this is where Zoro steps up. He's been watching, assessing. He's not flashy. He's just been standing there, a coiled spring of danger, and he is not about to let Jango just stroll past him to get to Kaya. He moves to block his path, swords ready.
Zoro has a job to do. He made a promise. Luffy might be the captain, but Zoro is often the enforcer of the crew's immediate promises. He told Usopp they'd help, and that's exactly what he's going to do. But Bucci intercepts him.
The rematch. Bucci comes flying in for an attack, and Zoro's ready for it. He recognizes the move from their fight at the gate, but something's different. The panel shows Zoro's eyes widening in surprise.
The attack is way more powerful than it was before. It sends Zoro sliding back, digging his heels in. Even Kuro comments on it from the side, saying Bucci doesn't even know his own strength.
It's gotta be Jango's hypnotism. He didn't just put them back on their feet and heal their wounds. He cranked their power up to 11. He gave them a post-hypnotic suggestion. You are strong. He removed their mental blocks.
It's a terrifying application of that power. It's not just about making people fall asleep. He can rewrite their perception of their own limits, turning your own crew into berserkers who can't even gauge their own strength. It's incredibly reckless. What happens when the fight is over? Do they stay that way?
That's a good question. Do they just go around punching through walls by accident for the rest of their lives? For now, though, it's working. Bucci manages to slam Zoro against the cliff wall, pinning him, and for a second it looks bad. Zoro is caught, one of his swords pinned against the rock. He's gritting his teeth, bloodied, and he just refuses to be beaten. The art here is fantastic. You see every strained muscle, the sweat flying from his brow.
He says he won't lose to someone he's already defeated once before. That's the whole philosophy, man. That's the core of his strength. For Zoro, a battle is a contest of wills. He already proved his will was superior. To lose a rematch would be to admit his first victory was a fluke, and his pride can't accept that. It's pure, uncut pride and determination. He starts pushing Bucci back through sheer force of will.
This is an early glimpse of that indomitable spirit that will come to define him, the idea that his will can overcome physical limitations.
And he's not wrong. In his world, that's how it works. While Zoro is occupied, locked in the struggle of wills, Jango sees his opening. He doesn't even glance at them. He just calmly walks right past the struggle. His eyes are on the prize. He is single-minded. Zoro is the bodyguard, so he has the bodyguard's bodyguard intercept him. A simple but effective tactic.
And Usopp sees it. He's down on the ground, beaten and bruised from that kick. He sees Jango heading for Kaya and the kids, and he can't move. He's just frozen.
It's that moment of pure, paralyzing fear. He knows he's too weak, too hurt. The pain from Kuro's kick is radiating through his body, but worse than that is the psychological pain. He's been utterly dismissed, treated as nothing. The confidence he built up by standing on that hill has been shattered. He can't physically stop what's about to happen.
But he's not just a fighter. He's a captain. His body might have given up, but his mind is still working. He's fighting through the pain and the terror. He looks at his crew, at those 3 kids who look up to him, who charged into hell for him just moments ago, and he gives them their first real order.
He tells them their most important task is to protect Kaya and get her to a safe place. He yells it with everything he has left in his lungs.
Super. That's it. That's the moment. It's not a lie. It's not a boast. It's not I, Captain Usopp, command you. It's a desperate, real, true command from a captain to his crew. He can't save her, so he entrusts his mission, his entire reason for fighting, to them. It's the ultimate act of leadership, knowing your own limits and trusting your crew to carry the mission forward.
And they don't hesitate. Ninjin, Tamanegi, and Piman snap to attention. The fear is gone, replaced by purpose. They understand the gravity of it instantly. The game is over. This is a real mission from their real captain. Their faces are set with determination.
They grab Kaya and they bolt into the forest. No questions asked. Just pure, immediate obedience born from trust. And Jango is right on their heels. He's not letting that inheritance get away. He's lanky, he's fast, and he's closing the distance.
He's about to throw his bladed ring, the chakram, to stop them. You can see him winding up for the toss. It's a deadly weapon, and against a fleeing, defenseless target like Kaya, it's a guaranteed hit. This is the moment they get caught.
And then, from all the way back on the slope, ping! A single perfect sound effect. A projectile hits Jango's ring right out of the air, sending it spinning off course.
It's Usopp. He's still on the ground, he still can't stand up, but he got his slingshot out. He's aiming from a low, awkward angle, wounded, probably seeing double, and he still makes the shot.
He couldn't move his legs, but his hands still work. That's our sniper. Paralyzed by fear, physically broken, but his sharp shooting instincts just take over. It's muscle memory. It's pure talent. He saw the threat and he neutralized it. What a shot. The precision is just breathtaking. He didn't hit Jango, he hit the weapon mid-throw.
He absolutely saved their lives with that single pellet. He buys them precious seconds, and just as importantly, he draws Jango's attention back to him.
That's a Straw Hat move. That is the spirit of this crew right there. He's hurt, he's terrified, but he's making himself the target to protect his friends. He's drawing the fire. He's already one of them, even if he doesn't know it yet. Luffy did the same thing for Kobe against Alvida. Zoro did it against Morgan. It's the defining characteristic.
Jango turns his attention to Usopp, clearly annoyed that this insect is still causing problems, but Kuro's voice cuts through the chaos.
Ice cold. Just reminds him, you have a task to do. Kuro does not care about Usopp. He just made a 1-in-a-million shot that saved the target, and Kuro's reaction is basically, ignore it. He's irrelevant. Get the money. It's the ultimate sign of his arrogance. He cannot conceive that Usopp could be a genuine threat.
It leaves us with two very distinct battlefronts, perfectly staged. On the oil-slicked slope, you have the battle of the captains, Luffy versus Kuro, the monster of the East Blue versus the future king of the pirates. And in the forest, you have a tactical chase, the terrified but brave Usopp and his loyal crew versus the methodical hypnotist Jango.
It's a perfect setup, the raw power fight and the tactical chase. Oda is setting the stage so cleanly here. Every character has a clear objective and an obstacle. Luffy has to beat the unbeatable Kuro. Zoro has to overcome a powered-up Bucci. And Usopp has to outwit a pursuer he can't possibly overpower, all to protect the people he loves.
And this is where we leave things. Usopp has bought the kids a few precious seconds, but Jango is still between him and them, and Kuro is about to unleash his full fury on Luffy.
What a chapter for Usopp, bro. Seriously. From helpless to hero in the span of a few moments, all without throwing a single real punch. His bravery isn't in his fists, it's in his heart and his aim. This chapter is called Hill of Truth, and the truth is, Usopp is already a brave warrior of the sea. He just has to believe it himself.
It's the truth on the hill, the truth of who he wants to be revealed in a moment of crisis.
Man, I can't wait to see what happens next. What do you think is Usopp's single bravest moment so far in the series? Let us know down in the comments, and if you're enjoying these deep dives, a like always helps us reach more future brave warriors of the sea.
Okay, predictions for chapter 36. I'll go first.
Lay it on me.
My first prediction. Jango, now in the forest, will use his hypnotism on the kids. He saw how loyal they were to Usopp's command. He'll try to turn that loyalty against them, maybe by hypnotizing one to stop the others.
Ooh, that's dark. I like it. A psychological attack. Fits in perfectly. What's your second?
Zoro will finish his fight with Bucci quickly, but it won't be over. Sham will rejoin the fight, and Zoro will have to face both Meowban brothers at once, just like before. But this time, they're both powered up by Jango's suggestion.
A true 2-on-1. Yeah, that feels right. You can't just have one of them. Okay, my turn. Prediction 1. Usopp is going to lead Jango on a merry chase through that forest. This is his home turf. He knows every hiding spot, every vine, every ditch. He's going to use his knowledge of the terrain and his skill with traps to outsmart Jango.
The guerrilla warfare approach. It suits him.
Exactly. He can't win a straight fight, so he's not gonna take one. My second prediction is about the main event, Luffy versus Kuro. Kuro is angry now. We're about to see his real technique, that silent step move his crew was so scared of. I predict he's going to move so fast, he literally disappears, and Luffy's gonna spend the first part of this fight just trying to track him.
A battle of pure speed versus Luffy's unpredictable rubber body.
You got it. It's going to be a blur of motion, and Luffy's gonna have to rely on instinct, not just his eyes, to even land a hit. And that's where we'll leave it for this week. Thanks for tuning in to Inherited Dawn.
We'll see you next time for Chapter 36. Stay safe on the high seas.